Hi everyone, just a second, I'll share the presentation. Okay, yeah, hi everyone again. I'm very happy to present today our master program in economics at Osnabrück University. And our slogan is future-oriented and sustainable. And to learn a little bit of German, here in the bottom right, you see what it's called in German, zukunftsorientiert und nachhaltig. And you will see, I think, in the course of the presentation, why we use this slogan. My name, as Georgie already said, is Stefanie Engel. I'm a professor of environmental economics in the program. And I am doing this presentation actually together with Zhana Elian, who you can also see in a moment, I think. Yeah, hi Zhana. And Zhana has just completed the economics program as a student. So we will be doing the presentation together. And we will tell you why the program, the people and the environment are all great reasons to come to Osnabrück to do your master in economics. Somehow I cannot fully see titles. Anyway, hold on. So let me start with the program. We have programs in the broad area of business administration, economics, and business information systems at bachelor and master level at the University of Osnabrück. But today I will just talk about the Master of Science in Economics. And this is actually a program that has undergone brand new reforms that will be implemented in the coming year. And so there are also aspects of it which you will not find yet on the web page, but I'm telling you, or we are telling you about it here. What are some core elements of this reform? The first is that the Master of Economics is now in English. So if you look at web pages, you might still see that in Osnabrück, you can only do this in a combination of German and English. But now really, you don't have to speak any German to do this master program. It's fully in English. A second new core element is that we have the option to do a new, very timely specialization in the field of sustainability, behavior, and environmental policy. And I'll tell you more about that in a moment also. And also one thing we have done is we have increased even more the flexibility you have in your course choices. So if you do this program, in the course of the program, you will deepen your knowledge in economics, of course. You will also learn a broad spectrum of application-oriented economic methods. That's important to us. And you will be able to apply models and methods to economic policy issues and do that already in the course of the program. And you will get prepared for working on important real-world projects. So that's very general. Let me tell you a little more in detail. And as I said, there is a lot of flexibility to shape the program according to your own interest, which we think is a strength. I show you here an exemplary study plan of our master program in economics. In total, it has 120 ECTS in 4 semesters usually. And there is really only one compulsory module. That is the module in advanced methods of business and economics that has 10 ECTS. And that's really providing you with advanced competencies in microeconomic and econometric analysis and with application to concrete examples. Of course, the master thesis is a core component as well that has 20 ECTS, but all the rest, the 90 ECTS that are left, are really an elective area. So you can really shape this program according to your interests. Within that, of course, there are some restrictions. You have to take 60 out of these 90 ECTS in economics and methods, and 10 you have to take in business administration. Now, within this elective area, you also have the option, if you want to choose one of 2 majors. And one major is in empirical economics, the other is in sustainability, behavior, and environmental policy. And what that means to choose a major is that you take at least 40 ECTS in a specified area. So you have a list of courses that fit that focus, that major, and you choose from them at least 40 ECTS. So let me tell you a little bit more about these majors. So the first major is in empirical economics. This is something we've been having also in the past when the program was not yet fully in English. And the motivation there is modern economics really increasingly uses empirical methods in its research. And our faculty is particularly strong in this regard. Most of us really do work empirically. So I think also maybe compared to Bonn, we have a little bit less of a theory focus. And the aim of the major is really to provide you with the ability to conduct independent empirical analysis. So that means you will get strong methodological foundations in statistics and econometrics. If you choose this major, you will get applied training in which various economic policy issues are addressed, for example, from finance, from economic policy, from development policy, and others. And you will also do an empirical study on your own in form of a project seminar. There are many career perspectives if you choose to go that way. For example, at applied research institutes, at consulting firms, at departments of companies, banks, the big four auditing firms, conducting empirical analysis, and of course also in academia. So this is really an area where you have very broad opportunities afterwards. Now I want to tell you in a little bit more detail about the new major in sustainability, behavior, and environmental policy, because it's new, because it's timely, and because it is also not yet reflected on our webpage. So I want to make sure you get the information here. So the motivation for offering that major is, of course, that we have a climate crisis worldwide. We face other major environmental challenges, and all of this really calls for a change in the way we do things. It calls for sustainability transformation. Maybe you saw the recent UN poll, which says almost 2/3 of the people surveyed worldwide really say climate change is a global emergency and greater action is urgently needed. The percentage is definitely higher, even if you look at younger people. And the thing is, we largely know how the behavior of various actors should change. Companies, consumers, farmers, governments. We know how it should change, but the change is not happening, at least not enough. And why is that? That's really motivating this major. So for example, if you followed a little bit the climate conference of parties in Glasgow just a few weeks ago, you might have seen that the pledges the countries have made in terms of the emission reductions they want to achieve are not really matched by policies that are implemented. And now you are here because you are interested in economics. And the thing is, understanding economics is really important for understanding major sources of the problem, because economics is really the study of how people deal with scarce resources and when they have to make trade-offs and so on. So it's really important actually for understanding these issues, these problems. And of course, also, it's really important for developing solutions. So this major is really aiming at qualifying those of you who want to actively shape a societal transformation towards a more sustainable economy. And that means to us that we really want to educate young professionals like you who understand the role of economics in such a sustainability transformation and who can competently apply their disciplinary knowledge in economics also in an interdisciplinary environment, because environmental challenges are inherently interdisciplinary. So if you choose that major, what you will get is an in-depth understanding of the barriers for sustainability transformation and of solution approaches for sustainability transformation from an economic perspective. And what is really special and unique about our program, compared also to other programs in environmental economics that are out there, is that we have this unique combination of environmental economics with behavioral economics. So environmental economics is, for example, about issues like what is the relationship between economic growth and environmental quality? How can we conceptualize a sustainable development, and how can we measure whether we are on track for a sustainable development? What about a green growth strategy? Is it sufficient? Is it a good idea? Do we need post-growth economics? And very important part of it is also to look at economic incentive policies that promote more sustainable behavior. You all have seen CO2 taxes, emissions trading. Those are inherently environmental economic inventions. So that's what environmental economics really includes as well. Now, behavioral economics is really about bringing in another aspect, namely the psychological factors that influence human behavior beyond Homo economicus. So beyond the assumptions that are often made in standard economics, behavioral economics really brings in also knowledge about these more psychological factors that influence human behavior, and that can also be important barriers or drivers for sustainable behavior or behavior in general. And so this also brings in then related policy approaches. Maybe you know Richard Thaler, one of the Nobel Prize winners in economics, who has become famous for this area, working on nudges. Maybe you heard about it. If you go for this major, you would also get additional methods. So in addition to econometrics and statistics, here you will also work with economic experiments and policy evaluation. And you will have the opportunity, if you want to gain also some fundamental knowledge in other sustainability-related disciplines. So there is a scope for some interdisciplinarity in the program by allowing you to take some courses also from other disciplines that are related to this area. For example, psychology, human geography, political or cognitive or system sciences. What can you do with such a major? Well, there are really a lot of career perspectives in this area because it is a very timely area and a very growing area still. So you could work at public agencies shaping environmental policy at different levels. You could work in companies and organizations that are involved in policy consulting. You could also work in sustainability departments of companies, because a lot of the large companies, or actually all of the large companies now also have sustainability departments, or also the economic research institutes now have all environmental departments. You could, of course, also work in academia or also for environmental NGOs. So that's what I want to say at this point about the program. You can, of course, ask more questions later. But now I want to hand over to Zhana, who will be telling you about the people and the environment.
Yes, hello from me too. My name is Zhana Elian, and I have recently graduated with a master's degree in economics from the University of Osnabrück. And since I did my bachelor in a different city, I had the opportunity to collect experience from 2 different universities in Germany. But I can say really with no hesitation that my study in Osnabrück was far more successful and far more helpful for my future professional life. Here I was able to learn from renowned professors who actively use and develop new empirical methods for their research. And therefore, we as students can also learn to do our own researches in the most efficient and in the most novel way by having the constant help of the professors throughout our study when it's needed. And this is one of the main differences that I actually noticed when I came here. The students here have constant support from the lecturers and from the professors, and one can always ask for a feedback, which is always given in the most constructive, personal, but also very respectful way. And this, of course, is something that from what we can really learn. Furthermore, the students here are also very engaged in different fields. For example, there are some students that are active in the student council, which represents us all the students, in committees with the professors and university management. In addition, also the social media accounts of the faculty are run by, like for example, Instagram is run by students who regularly update us with the latest and the most important information. And also several of the professors in the university are part of interdisciplinary networks. And for example, the University of Osnabrück has a major interdisciplinary profile lines in digitalization and human environment network. And of course, this professor can bring a broad perspective into their teaching and into their research, which is of course also very valuable for us, the students. Yeah, and I would also like to say something about the city. Our university is located in the city of peace. Osnabrück was founded in 1780 and got its nickname because here the Peace of Westphalia was signed in 1648. And nowadays, the city is inhabited by 168,000 people, from which 28,000 are students, which makes Osnabrück the perfect small big student city. And I say small big city because, for example, 9 out of 10 students live in the city, and here the distances are really not so big, and most of the time you can even walk to the university, walk to the city center, and even to the bars and to the club areas. But at the same time, it is also very lively city at night, and throughout the whole year there are different sports events and cultural events, and also music scene for really every taste. At the same time, if you want to have some quiet, you can also enjoy the green areas in the city or go to the botanical garden. And all these factors combined together contribute to having really high quality of life for really low costs at the same time. Nowadays, the city is also very well connected to different major cities. For example, Osnabrück lies on the intercity train track between Amsterdam and Hanover, Berlin. Or also there is an airport, Osnabrück-Münster, which is only 20 minutes away with a car, and different big cities that are really loved by almost everybody, like Düsseldorf, Bremen, Hamburg, and Hanover. They're also only 2 hours or less with train. Like you can reach them in like 2 hours or less with the train. Yes, I really had 2 very, very, very amazing years here in Osnabrück, which even the COVID-19 pandemic could not ruin. And Osnabrück and the university here are really places where you can learn a lot and connect to some really amazing people.
Yeah, and if you get curious about the program in Osnabrück, there is further information on various websites. I put the links here, but it's important to keep in mind that the website revision is currently in progress because of the reforms that I have mentioned. So the brand new changes are actually not yet reflected there. So in case you have any questions on these presentations, we will also share the slides with you if you want. And if you have any questions on that, you can also contact us directly at the email addresses that you see here. So feel free to just send us also an email. Also, if questions come up later, you can just write to us. And that's all I'm going to talk about now. I hand over back to Georgie.